It brings me indeed a big honor to be here today because I'm able actually to present today on a tool which is not really dermatology specific, but which is very powerful. I'll be talking about social media. Well, first of all, I'd like to start by redefinition of what social media is versus social networking. I believe that when you are more networking, you're more on a par with people whom you meet with. Whereas with media, you're really casting down to try and get as big an audience as possible. So I really think we should use social networks and not social media. So I just think that when we're networking, it's always the same thing. We need to have fun, and we need to learn, and we need to be inspired by the people we meet. So the idea, as I said, it's about building these relationships. So why would you go on social media in the first place? So you have an opportunity to speak with people who could be your patients, the public. It could be your colleagues, and it's also quite relevant if to find people who are interested in participating in a project. I mean, we did find some team members for a project which I'll mention afterwards, thanks to social media, and it's also a great way to tell our funders, for example, what we are doing, because I guess they are very busy, but everyone has a time to look at the mobile feed. So this is a project we're doing now. It's a project on artificial intelligence, but I really wanted to have it web presence, which was as maximum as possible. We probably have some teams listening today. So we have a team in Madagascar, and we also have a member in Guinea, and we're talking with Dr. Hsu, who will be joining us from next week. So we also have an Instagram feed where you can actually see what's being done, and the quizzes we do always revolve around the 5 diseases which we are talking about. That means eczema, impetigo, fungal infections, scabies, and insect bites. So this is a quiz that they are sent by our team members, and I actually post them on LinkedIn. So I'll be talking about 3 social media. I would say from top to bottom, because the first one is my favorite one. So it's LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So before I start, I'll just say that LinkedIn is actually where you have the few members. But it still has 750 million people. Then you have Facebook, which almost has 3 billion nowadays, which is amazing. And you have Instagram, which reached a billion quite recently. So I'll start with LinkedIn. So what I like about this platform is that it brings accountability. Contrarily to the other platforms, such as Facebook and Instagram, you actually get to see who you're interacting with and what their professional qualifications are, and depending on what they put, it also brings the trust, which is also a very important part in networking. And then what I like as well about LinkedIn is that it has I would say a lower reach, but unfiltered reach. That means if you post something on Facebook or on Instagram, most likely your audience, even your friends, actually don't even see what you post. So and this is not the fact with LinkedIn. And also, we don't necessarily have a lot of time to waste. We are busy, and again, the advantage about LinkedIn is that the post life is a few weeks if something is interesting, and it's at least a week. Whereas for other platforms such as Facebook, it's going to be 24 hours, Instagram 24 hours, and Twitter, honestly, we can now see how excessive this platform is, because the tweet live is 20 minutes. So there's not a lot of thought in there, to be honest. So just continue. Okay, so again, what I think is that quizzes are the most popular thing, and again, you get less engagement. So that means people who see your quizzes don't necessarily like, comment, or share, because I think they have come to understand that when they leave a like, a comment, or share, the audience, their connections are going to be aware that so and so left a like, and it doesn't mean the post isn't interesting. For example, if someone looks at a post, it's a bit like Netflix. So there's a bit of artificial intelligence in there which actually measures the duration of the interaction. And even though you get a low interaction, a low engagement rate, honestly, you can actually see different figures. You can see here below, you can see the number of reach, and it's only got 22 likes, so there's something which is missing there. There's a lot more engagement that it could appear in the first place. And you can actually see as well with LinkedIn, you can actually see again who your audience is. So you can look at companies, which makes sense if you're a big organization. You can also see who they are. That means if they're doctors, if they're pharma people, or if they are even university academia. And you can actually see from where they're coming from. So you don't see all of them, but you get the top 10. So let me just, sorry. So, and again, I think another very interesting thing is articles. So you don't really get that many of a readership, but the people who read actually are interested in your content, and they can actually, and the post life is a lot longer. It's a few weeks, and you can actually get a link which you can share widely, contrarily to a post. So again, also you can see who is watching you, which makes sense. I mean, if someone is watching you, it might be the moment to send a message and actually open the discussion. So Facebook, again, I think Facebook is more social media. That means it's not really much networking, but it's the good old boy. That means you have a very high reach, especially because there wasn't a lot of filtering before, so the pages can grow can grow enormous at that time. But again, it's more difficult to evaluate the user, and you don't really know who is engaging with your post. Let it be a bot. I'm just going to talk about some pages I manage. So it's the Blue Journals page, which I actually started the same day I met Professor Hay and Professor Sterry in Denver in 2012. This is a page I've been managing. Of course, there's a social media team. And then there's the GADV page, which is more recent. And this is the media I manage, so it's Dermatology News Daily. And that one has been running since 2011. So last I'll finish with Instagram. Again, more media, but it's a bit counterintuitive because we could think that dermatology being very visual, it could be an interesting platform to be with. There is engagement. It's filtered again, like everything done by Facebook. But there's the advantage of gaining a younger audience. So it's it could be for residents under 30 or dermatologists under 30, and the post life is quite short. So it's typically 12 hours, but never exceeds 20 hours. So these are pages I manage on Instagram. So there's the Dermatology News Daily, which now is reaching around 28,000. Then there's a Passion Derm, which is the project page. And then I'm also starting a new website called telemedskin.com, which is about digital health, basically. And on the bottom of that page, you can actually see the 3 feeders at the same time. So you can see the Facebook page and the 2 Instagram pages. So again, why would you go on social media? So I'll just read. So it's engage the public, engage the patients, engage the colleagues. Find colleagues for projects and get the funding for your projects, or at least find people who are interested and who have the means. So again, now I'm going to talk about my own experience. So I just built that site here because it's really something which I've been doing since 2009, and there's a lot of experiences in there, a lot of network, a lot of posts, and I think it's for me personally, for my dermatological career, it's been a very interesting thing to do. So it started in 2009 with a website, and actually Prof. Chan, or Roy Chan of Singapore, was very helpful in helping me start off with the website content. And again, so then I moved on to different social media platforms because actually the website traffic was going down because of Google filtering algorithms. It happened as well for social media from 2018 onwards, but it hasn't happened yet for LinkedIn. So you can read my experience in the EADV News, which you can just Google. And I also have duplicated the article on my LinkedIn profile. So again, you don't have to take the first step. You don't have to do the whole staircase, but just take the first step. But in my opinion, with that COVID epidemic, which I deplore and which I hope that we'll be able to meet for real, I think that first step is already taken. So anyway, so now I just would like to say thank you, and I'll just finish with the social media feeds, and we can see on the right, we can see John Masenga, I think, and Federica, which I'm very envious for, who are actually at the RDTC. And for this, I'll finish my presentation here. Thank you.